So this is a quick update on the Kaiju engine. I've overhauled the layout system because I noticed I was doing a little bit too much work and I wanted to add in um, some extra features. So one of the things that I added in after I updated the layout system was a HTML previewer, so you can preview your UI edits. Uh, I can go ahead and show you. Okay, so I don't know if I showed the console window, but here's a console. And we can run some commands in here. One is going to be preview, content slash UI slash tests slash preview.html, and that'll give us this this here, which is this document. So I can come in and say make some edits and then hit save, and you'll see it updates over here. So if I wanted to make the buttons a little bit smaller, 50 pixels, make them a little bit smaller, and then I'll change the title, my title, and then we can mess around with the background color here. Let's make it like a blue. So this is one of the new tools that we have for previewing these edits, just to see how it would look, your UI would look in the engine once you've laid it out. And yeah, I think that's the coolest thing I just added today. The way that this works is that, as you recall from when we first talked about setting up the engine, I'm just going to go ahead and get all this blue out of our face. When we first talked about setting up the engine, one of the things that I mentioned is that we have no such thing as statics. We don't have statics anywhere. There is a form of static in the sense of console because we would have a dependency loop, circular dependency. So I have this temporary solution. I think it works fine for now. You say console form passed in the host, and so there is a list of consoles here, and they get initialized on demand, and they can clean up themselves as hosts are destroyed somewhere in here. I'm pretty sure. If not, that's something I'm going to be adding. But other than that, we don't have any statics. So we can quickly just create a new instance of a host, and and a new window and everything else, and it'll just be like you're running the engine twice. And with that ability, we can take a look at the preview go code here. With that ability, we can do stuff like this, where when we run the preview command and we pass it a file that's valid, we can just create a new host container and and then set it off to run on a separate thread, and um, then do our code for uh, checking for if the file is updated and clearing out the UI and refreshing it. So uh, that's one of the main reasons that we didn't want to have any statics, so we can have these helper windows that can be useful for previews and all that sort of stuff. So that's one of the major things. The other major thing, I guess, is the console window itself. I don't know if I went over the console window. The code for the console window is pretty straightforward. Like I said, you say console for this host, and then you could set that to a variable if you want. And then you say add command, the command itself, and then you'll get an argument, which is just a single string. And if you expect the command to have multiple arguments, like, I don't know, something like count enemies with name something, and then you have 3 arguments, you just can split those on the string if you want. I haven't gone through and done that for you because right now I don't want to parse out if it's in quotes, if it's not, and all this other stuff. So I might even just leave it as a string and then add helper functions for extracting out those types of arguments like strings and numbers and all that. But that's it for now when it comes to that. So I can show you some simple commands here. We have um, entity count, which is just a simple uh, test one to make sure it's working. But we can also do things like pprof start, and that's going to start a CPU profiler, and it's running right now in the background. And then I can say pprof stop, and that'll stop the profiler and create this file. And then I could do stuff like pprof top, which will go through and print out the top um, things that are happening were happening for that profile session. And you can see that cgo calls are going to be at the top, obviously, because cgo is doing Windows stuff and it's doing Vulkan stuff, and this just encapsulates, even though like the window code is on a separate thread, that still encapsulates the time. So it's nice to have that. So that's going to be your highest. You're going to see that this windowing event is ready. It's taken up a lot of time, and that's just because we hit that. Um, we hit we hit the waiting to check and see if the polling events are done. So these top three here are related to um, interacting with system calls, whether it's Vulkan or the windowing system and polling all that. So that's somewhat expected, um, at least until we get some more CPU intensive stuff going on. Then we have just a bunch of random other stuff down throughout here that we can take a look at and see. So yeah, you can use this console window and register stuff to it and play around with it, add your own commands, that kind of thing. Um, It's all built in. You just hit the tilde key to make it pop up and hit it again to make it go away. So I think those are the major things. I would talk about the layout stuff, but it's basically hidden from our previous updates. The layout system is all just the code and how everything gets laid out and stabilizes in the UI, and it should be no visual difference from the last one. Just a performance increase, and better checking and layouts in general. But there are some bugs that need to be worked out. So yeah, I think with that, that's our primary updates that we had for this one. We did have a couple of bugs come up, but those have since been resolved. I think um, that we need to catch up the xlib or X11 Windows to the Windows code a little. There's a few issues for that, and just the window code in general isn't finished. We have enough to view window and like mess around in it and render in it, but resizing and moving it around, installing it and minimizing all that stuff could cause crashes or errors. So I'll probably be working on the windowing stuff next, just to make sure that the window is functioning properly. Uh, yeah, if you have any questions or want to see anything specific or anything else, let me know. The other things that we're also on the docket that we need to get done is mesh loaders. I've written them before. I just haven't ported any, specifically a GLTF and an OBJ mesh loader. I have those two, and they just need to be ported into this new rendering system. And any other formats that people want to support, that the pull requests are open for that. Okay, so I think that's about it. Somewhat short update on this one, and yeah, feel free. Oh, we also have a Discord server now if you want to join in and come talk with us, or just if you have questions, or if you're interested in um, kind of seeing what's going on. We just started it, so it's a little barren, but as people join and join in and chat and talk, you know, it should populate itself. The Discord isn't a support forum. We're not going to be there to explicitly help people out with problems if they download the code. Right now, it's in a very early state. We will talk about if you're working on issues that we need. We definitely are happy to talk about those, but just general like how to code and that sort of stuff, we're probably not going to respond to. The Discord community is supposed to just be a place where we can talk about games and Go and game engines. Excuse me, and things it's just supposed to be a community where we shoot the breeze and have fun. So um, yeah, we don't want to turn it into a support forum. If you have issues with the code, open up a ticket in the issues and that's where we'll deal with those problems. So yeah, hope to see you in the Discord. Uh, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next update.